Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Don V with Truth Be Told, and we have a couple stories we'd like to share. And without ado, let's go ahead and move on. First one is 45 to hold Cleveland rally on June 26th. Will Stump for Max Miller, who is challenging pro-impeachment RINO Anthony Gonzalez. Goodbye, RINO. 45 is holding a rally next Saturday in Cleveland, Ohio, his first rally in Ohio since the general election. 45 is targeting anti-Trump RINO Anthony Gonzalez, who voted to impeach President Trump in January. 45 will stump for Max Miller in the Ohio race. Cincinnati.com reported the trip marks 45's first visit to Ohio since Circleville rally held just days before the 2020 election. 45 won Ohio by 8% points in 2020 over Democrat Biden, matching his 2016 margin of victory. 45 is expected to stump for his endorsed candidates, including former White House aide Max Miller, who is challenging sitting Representative Anthony Gonzalez. Gonzalez was one of 10 Republicans who voted to impeach. The Ohio Republican Party recently called on Gonzalez to resign over his vote. 45 is also backing coal lobbyist Mike Carey in a special election to replace Representative Steve Stivers, who resigned to lead the Ohio Chamber of Commerce. 45's endorsement came after Stivers announced he would back Representative Jeff LaRae, Republican, and the Violet Township. 45 is targeting Representative Anthony Gonzalez, Republican, you mean RINO, who is one of 10 Republicans who voted to impeach the president in January based on faulty liberal narratives. Moving on. It says the GOP delegation visits the southern border at the We Build the Wall site. GOP leadership visited the southern border wall today. The place they happened to visit is where We Build the Wall group built the structure a few years ago. GOP leadership visited the southern border today and spoke at the border about the unconstitutional actions taking place by Slow Joe at the border. It is Obama all over again, Representative McCarthy said. The security of our nation and our border is first and foremost the responsibility of our president. Well, the current insane gang in D.C. ignores laws and does what it wants, and this administration wants to destroy the U.S. Let's go ahead and play this video and see what we got to say.
The security of our nation and our border is first and foremost the responsibility of our president. I came down here because I heard of the crisis. It's more than a crisis. This is a human heartbreak. The sad part about all of this, it didn't have to happen. This crisis is created by the presidential policies of this new administration. There's no other way to claim it than a Biden border crisis. Every part of what we sat and talked to, we learned more of how it was created. Congressman Menez talked to a family from Honduras, asked how long they've been traveling, 22 days. Just in coincidence of the actions taken by President Biden of why people think they could come here and break the law. We went through a new facility that was built just more than a year ago. They built it with a capacity they thought they could never meet, 1,040 people to be processed. Today broke that record. Today they're beyond capacity. They're having to build into the parking lot a makeshift facility. Even though the U.S. Congress just passed a $1.9 trillion bill, not $1 in there to help them. It's taking away the operation cost for the border to be protected. But for all these children that are unaccompanied that's sitting in there, there's 120 border agents that are now inside that unit that are not on the border protecting us when a surge is coming. As we went up to Monument 3, it's Speaking to the men and women on the front lines, they catch from 100 to 200 people a night. As we talk to the medical units, and as I tell you, not as a member of Congress, but as a father of a son and a daughter, and you look in the eyes of these children, they came unaccompanied. They tell the story of a 1, a 3, and a 5-year-old holding their hands, walking up to an agent with no parents, no adults in sight. Who brought them? We're going to bring up Representative John Rose from Tennessee.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here at the border today, and I want to thank Leader McCarthy for putting this trip together to open the eyes for people like me. I represent the people of the 6th District of Tennessee, a long way from the southern border. Today, I have to tell the people of the 6th District and the people of our great country that as I look into the eyes of these young immigrants, of these hopeful families who have been encouraged to come here by the misguided perceptions of our current president, they're coming with the hope to achieve the American dream. But unfortunately, before they ever have that chance
Whoops, sorry about that.
to achieve the American dream, they're going to have to experience the Biden nightmare of making their way across this long and treacherous track, many of whom will not be successful, and then only to be greeted with the process that is not meant to accommodate them. So as I think about the people I represent back in Tennessee, I call upon our president to end this nightmare by announcing to the world that the southern border of the United States is open for legal immigration. And I call on him to do that now.
It seems strange to have someone from Iowa, but I'm part of Homeland Security, Emergency Preparedness, and Border Security. And I just want to remind you, one of the things that we learned at the border today is that when 120 Border Patrol officers are taken from the border to a processing center, that leaves our border porous. And what did we learn? That there are drug traffickers and there are individuals on the terror watch list that are coming across our border illegally from Yemen, Syria, Iran. They're coming here and they're on the terror watch list. They had a huge apprehension of fentanyl. Well, Interstate 35 goes all the way up to Iowa, and we have drug problems all throughout the I-35 corridor, and that continues when we allow illegal drugs to come in here trafficking.
Well, moving on. It says the spot where the GOP team spoke from was where the group We Build the Wall built the wall. This was a key location where a wall was needed to prevent drug and human traffickers and illegal aliens from entering the country. This group raised money to build the wall. It was then targeted in a political hit job by the DOJ's Southern District of New York. Representative Paul Gosar from Arizona requested that Pres 45 pardon all these individuals because they had done nothing wrong and were attacked to building the wall. Unfortunately, only Steve Bannon was pardoned, and the remaining 3 individuals indicted in the case are still facing bogus charges in a bogus case investigated in New York. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Well, it goes to show you that this is a big mess over there, and it needs to be dealt with. This is Don V with Truth Be Told, and we are out of here.